So today I wanted to talk about three things you can do to help yourself if you've got a problem with binge eating. And these three things can really help you, like they did me, to look at and question why you do it. Because once you can understand that, you can begin to tackle it and to defeat it. So the first thing is the why. Why do you binge? Why do we binge? And normally, when you look at your behaviors and your feelings just before a binge or during a binge, you can see that there's a common link to many of them. And certainly that was true for me. I found that the big reason that I used to binge was because I used to starve myself. And so I'd begin the day, a Monday morning, begin the week, a Monday morning, and say to myself, right, today I'm going to be dieting. I was really bad at the weekend, so I'm going to be very, very strict with myself, be really good. And what I didn't realize is by making that decision, I was actually making the likelihood of me binging even worse. In fact, it was almost inevitable, because what would happen is maybe a day would pass or two if I was really lucky, and the hunger and cravings that I had and was experiencing just grew and grew. And I never linked it to the fact that it always resulted in a binge until I decided to find out my way. So what you've got to do is, that's step number one. Try and find out your why. And you can do that every time you have that thought or the urge to binge. Take out a notebook, take out a journal, and write down your feelings. See if it's something, I mean, it could be something like you're bored. It could be you're starving like I was. It could be that you're just having a really low mood that day. And each time you have that urge to binge, while you're binging, just write down the thoughts and feelings that you're experiencing. And then with hindsight, you can look back on those thoughts that you've written down, the feelings that you had, and see if there's a common link. And if you find a common link, you then know what you need to address and what is causing it. And that will be a powerful way for you to begin to defeat the act of binging itself. The second thing you can look at is how. How are you binging? And by that, I mean, are you going out to the shops to buy food? Are you ordering in a takeaway? Or are you just able to access all the food that you need at home? So the how is important, because you can put steps in to counteract that. So for example, if it's that you're keeping a lot of sweets, cakes, fast foods, already prepared meals that are really quick to make, chips, that sort of thing at home, you can counteract that by also having healthier options at home. And obviously you're going to have to make the effort to do that, make the effort to shop for those things and to store them. And in that way, you can be ready when you do want to binge, is that mindfully you select not only things that are unhealthy, but also include things that are healthy. And what that will do is make you feel fuller by eating less unhealthier things. Now, if it's to do with the fact that you go out to eat, you want to go to the shops and you buy chocolate crisps, you know, sugary drinks, and you always go out to get the food that you need for your binge, then put other obstacles in your way. Have to hand positive affirmations that you can look at times when you feel that need to go to the shops. Or have a note to say, okay, I'll get my chocolate and crisps, but I'll also buy a piece of fruit. I'll also buy something healthier like nuts, just so there's a balance in what I'm eating. And again, what you'll achieve by doing that is that you'll have your binge, but you'll also have something that's better for you. And slowly by slowly, you're unpicking that habit of binging. And lastly, if you order in takeaways, why don't you make sure that you also have vegetables to hand, so that if you do order a takeaway, you're adding something healthier to it. So that's how you combat the how. Don't look at the bigger picture. Don't think, well, this little change won't make a difference. It will. what happens is when every time you make a small change to what you normally do, you're building a new habit and you're replacing what you used to do before. And then the last thing you need to consider is where. Where are you binging? Is it at home and in secret? Is it with people, surrounded by family or friends? Or is it you go out to a takeaway or a restaurant and walk back with your, I don't know, with the packet of sweets, some crisps, again, sugary drinks, or you've bought fish and chips at the local shop on your way home. So when you look at where you binge, you can counteract that by, if it's, for example, what I used to do, I'd get off the train after work and I'd go to the local chip shop. Well, what you can do is you change your route. I used to always walk past the chip shop, and what I did on my weight loss journey was I really didn't want to do that all the time. So what I did was I made myself pick a new route home. And when I walked the new route home, I found that I didn't have the temptation of walking past that shop. And if it was at home and in secret, then I'd go back to the howl. I'd make sure that I had better options at home, just so that when I was feeling that urge, I didn't always have to resort to the sweets and the chocolates, but there were other options. So there are three things: the why, the how, and the where. And to begin this journey to counteract and to defeat binging is to look at those three things and look at your behaviours around them, and then consciously write down things that you can do to counteract that, to limit the damage of each one of those.